What if the man America called a legend was the same man who left a woman shattered, silenced, and forgotten? Imagine giving up your career, your friends, even your family, only to realize you were nothing more than a shadow in someone else's spotlight. That's the story of Angie Dickinson, Hollywood's golden star who says her years with Johnny Carson were not love, but a cage. For decades, people whispered about the chemistry between the movie star and the king of late-night television. Were they more than friends? Was she his secret lover? The tabloids guessed, the cameras zoomed in, and Angie smiled through it all. But behind those perfect red carpet moments was a reality she kept buried until now. At 93 years old, Angie has no reason to hide anymore. I lost my career, my pride, and eventually, the most precious thing I had, my daughter, she admits. And it all started when I believed Johnny Carson truly loved me. She met Johnny in the early 1960 seconds, when his star was on the rise. He had that sharp wit, the sly grin, a charisma you couldn't ignore. Angie was already a star in her own right. She'd shared the screen with John Wayne in Rio Bravo and with Frank Sinatra in Ocean's 11. Hollywood buzzed about her every move. Yet, when she crossed paths with Johnny, she felt the pull instantly. By the mid-60 seconds, Johnny had taken over The Tonight Show and was pulling in 10 million viewers every night. When Angie appeared as a guest, the tension was undeniable. Magazines branded her Carson's mystery woman. Both denied it. But at parties, their laughter lingered too long. Their eyes told more truth than their denials ever could. On the surface, they looked like the ultimate power couple, a TV king and a silver screen queen. But Angie soon realized one thing: power never flowed equally. With Johnny, it always tipped in his favor. At first, she brushed it off as love, but the cracks appeared quickly. In 1968, Angie was offered a major film role in Europe, the kind of opportunity that could have catapulted her career worldwide. Excited, she showed Johnny the script. He snapped it shut and said coldly, "If you go, don't expect me to be here when you get back." She stayed. She turned down the role. That night, she confessed to her friend, Nancy Sinatra, "I chose Johnny over myself." Nancy's reply cut to the bone. "Angie, he doesn't want to love you. He wants to control you." And it wasn't just once. Director Francis Ford Coppola, before he became a household name, reached out with a potential role. Johnny answered the call himself. "She's busy. Don't call again." Angie stood right there, speechless. One call from Carson could end any director's interest. Slowly, her world shrank. Friends drifted away. Career offers disappeared. Angie Dickinson, the rising star, was now just Johnny's woman. But control wasn't enough. There was jealousy, infidelity, and humiliation too. On the set of Policewoman, Johnny accused her of flirting with a co-star while the whole crew watched. And then came the moment that burned her forever. "Live on The Tonight Show," Johnny joked. "If it weren't for the nude scenes in Big Bad Mama, people would have forgotten you by now." The audience laughed. Angie sat there, smiling through the sting, her heart collapsing inside. When the cameras stopped, she broke down to Nancy Sinatra again. "He turned me into a joke. On national television," Nancy said softly. "That's not love, Angie. That's power." And the betrayals didn't stop there. Tabloids soon splashed pictures of Johnny with other women flight attendants, actresses, or strangers. Once, Angie even walked into their home to find him with another woman. His response? A shrug and a cigarette. "If you can't handle it, leave." But the deepest cut wasn't his affairs. It was the family life Angie never had. She longed for quiet mornings, a prettily, home, a future. Johnny brushed her off. "The Tonight Show is the only family I need." Her daughter, Nikki, born from her marriage to Burt Bacharach, often sat alone while Angie trailed after Johnny to another party. Nikki once whispered the words that haunted her mother forever. "Mom, you're not my mom anymore. He took you away from me." And then, one day, it all ended. Not with a fight, not with closure, but with silence. Angie opened the newspaper and read the headline, "Johnny Carson marries Joanna Holland." No call, no goodbye, nothing. She found out like the rest of America. Hollywood can be cruel, especially to women. By 40, Angie was no longer offered leading roles. Too old, they said. Johnny, meanwhile, aged in front of millions and stayed adored. At red carpets, reporters shoved mics in his face while ignoring her completely. "That's because they know who matters," Johnny told her with a smirk. She had been a Golden Globe winner, a groundbreaking lead in Policewoman, the woman who held her own beside legends like Wayne and Sinatra. But to Johnny, and to much of Hollywood, she was just an accessory. The years passed. Carson stayed on his throne until 1992, then slipped quietly into retirement. Angie worked, but only in supporting roles, no longer the star she once was. When Johnny died in 2005, America mourned a legend. Angie felt nothing. No tears, just emptiness. Her true heartbreak came later. In 2007, her daughter Nikki, who had battled Asperger's and lifelong depression, took her own life at just 40 years old. Angie collapsed when she heard the news. "I stood next to legends. I walked the red carpet. But in that moment, I was just a mother who failed her child." Now, at 93, Angie Dickinson lives quietly, surrounded by memories. She looks back and says the scars Johnny Carson left weren't just betrayal or humiliation or loneliness. Her deepest scar was silence, the silence of a man who left without a word, and the silence of a daughter gone too soon. And yet, she speaks today because she wants the world to know what destroys a woman isn't always violence. Sometimes it's indifference. Sometimes it's being erased. So, next time you hear Johnny Carson's name, remember legends make the world laugh. But sometimes, in their shadow, someone else is quietly breaking. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell me below, do you think Hollywood still traps women in the same way today? Or have things really changed?